Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. So we are live. I want to say on the onset, this is not the usual live stream. This is, um, well, it's part of what my channel is. I have a very spread out channel, very eclectic. This is one of the earlier things I did on my channel is talking about my experience with my vasectomy reversal. And I've gotten a few questions emailed to me over the years, and got a comment in the discussion and the video that I did about that. And I look like I'm having some serious lag. I apologize about that. Let's see. Maybe it does sometimes smooth itself out as the stream goes on. So hopefully it'll rectify itself. But if this is choppy, somebody let me know in the chat if anybody's picking up. I'm looking at my count right now. Nobody's on. So this might be something a lot of people pick up later. But I was hoping that people would have questions because there are a few people that said they did have questions, and I referred them to this stream tonight. But hey, it is what it is. If you happen to catch this, this is not drone footage or tech review that I usually do, but this is something that I do hold near and dear to my heart. And this is one of the many reasons that I started my YouTube channel, and that's basically to help somebody out. So I hope this helps you out in whatever venture you and your family are heading down. So at the beginning, I was previously married to a woman differently. I'm not married to anymore. Divorced. I'm remarried. After when my first marriage, we had 2 kids, and we both decided at that point we didn't want any more. And we figured if we did want more children, that we would be able to easily afford the vasectomy, and that would be an indicator to know that, hey, we can have more kids if we so choose. And so 2 things happened. The marriage fell horribly apart, and that's an episode in itself. And then I got remarried several years later, and the woman I remarried had no children of her own. And I was a single parent. I had full custody of my children. She took us all in and loved us, loved the children as if they were her own. And she was truly a blessing. But one of the things she did want, and a lot of women do, and is to experience the motherhood, the carrying of the baby inside, and all, though she wanted to experience that. And it was hard for me to understand, and to be honest, I still don't get all of it, but I do understand a little bit better than I did then, because I did not want to go through the surgery. It wasn't so much that I want more kids. I just didn't want to go through the surgery. I didn't want to pay that expense because, again, this is before I knew of the route I took. My urologist, which I love dearly, the Dr. Evans, and in his office, Dr. Evans and Dr. Locke, great physicians in the Franklin area. And Dr. Evans had retired, and Dr. Locke was still there in the practice. And in all fairness, the way it works is your doctor's office they have a doctor's fee that they charge for the procedure, and then there's the hospital fee that usually charges the big bulk of the expense. A lot of doctors will not do a vasectomy reversal without you being under general anesthesia. As a matter of fact, Dr. Evans had retired, so I went to see Dr. Locke when I was considering having this reversed. And he was basically like, there's no way you can do the surgery with local. And I found out that's actually not the case. Also, what else? The confidence level. Now, it's true. This is not a guarantee. It is not guaranteed that if you have this procedure done, that you will have 100% success rate. At one point, it was less than 50% success rate. And I think with technology. I if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, research this for yourself, but I believe the success rate is a little higher. I think it's closer to 60 to 70%, if not more. But still, let me back up. The cost, what this was going to cost me altogether with my physician's fee and the hospital fee, an estimated $21,000. 21, not 2,100, no, 21, three more zeros, $21,000. My car doesn't cost $21,000. It was, but my wife was determined. She was like, this is going to happen. And when she's determined, she sets out to make something happen. So she saved, man. And we were like, it was putting a stress because she was so determined to have this happen. She saved and she saved and she saved. And again, let me back up a little bit more. Initially, she thought it was going to cost, I don't know, somehow or another, we thought it was going to cost us 11,000. And then it was like a week before the surgery, they wanted us to have $21,000. And so it was going to be that much more. And again, that's the hospital with our physician, his fee is only like 4,000, a little over 4,000. So what we're paying extra for now is the anesthesia in the hospital. So for outpatient. So basically we're paying an additional, like, what is that? 15,000 more dollars, 16, 17,000 more dollars for this procedure. And so that was devastating because she got the money up, she saved it, and we were ready to go. And she finds out it's like going to be $21,000. I had to put my foot down. I'm like, that's not going to happen. We've been saving this money at a fever pitch. Everybody's suffering at that, right? Because it's like no extra anything. It's just like we have this focus, save, save, save. It caused a big stress, and that was relatively early on in our marriage. It was like, and I got it later on, but I was like, what I had to say to her was, we have other kids that we have to live for, and we're asking him to make this big sacrifice for something that we want. And it was the hardest thing I had to take, because I know how bad she wanted this. And I was devastated to have to even put my foot down and say, enough's enough. We're not going to do it. Because she was wanting to continue to get that $21,000. And again, it would have happened, but it would have been a great sacrifice at that time, what we were making. And so it just, I wasn't willing to put the two children we had through any more of that. And that was that. But I felt her plight. I mean, this is my wife. I love her. And I actually got used to the idea of having another little one. So what was I guess the angel in the works here was, I listened to Nashville Public Radio, NPR here in Nashville. And they had a nationwide, they had one of the programs talking about the cost of medical procedures being different. And they weren't talking about vasectomies or vasectomy reversals. They were talking about like knee replacements specifically, about how in different areas a knee replacement could cost a person $25,000, but here it could cost you $110,000. It was just a wide range of expense and cost that this could be, depending on where you were. So again, it wasn't 100% out of my mind. So I was like, I wonder what the cost of vasectomy reversals are at different places. Will that also be different? So a simple Google search of vasectomy reversals, it popped up a world of information. And it was scary because, for one, this is a surgery in a delicate area, and the last thing you want is a quack operating down there, if you know what I mean. So I'm reading different testimonies, and this one stuck out. It was the guy I went with, Dr. Lottie Rader. And the reason I went with him was when you put in vasectomy reversals, a lot of names pop up, and I was reading a lot of them. But I was reading his, and it was nothing negative that I could find at the time about anything about him at all. The only thing to me that was concerning was that he's an orthopedic surgeon. That's his training, orthopedics. But he specializes in microsurgery, and that's very important to understand that the specialty is in microsurgery. Excuse me. But I was concerned because I'm like, he's not a urologist, he's an orthopedist. And I don't know, what's this all about? Is this some scam? I mean, goodness gracious, I'm going to get down there in Texas and somebody's going to harvest my organs. I mean, I don't know. I was thinking for what the price for what he was offering, a vasectomy reversal. For one, he was saying something that my doctor had told me that can't be done. He said that you can do this with local anesthesia. Even though they do offer general anesthesia if you so choose. So it was just, those were things that scared me at first. So I checked this guy out. I'm Googling, because you know, like how it is. If somebody says something bad about you, you can find it on Google, especially a physician. So I'm Googling. I can't find any negative things about this guy. And this is 2013. So I'm like, I can't find anything negative about Dr. Rader. And I tell my wife about it after about 2 weeks, honestly. I knew about this for 2 weeks, and I kept on looking it up. And so finally, after I couldn't find anything negative about it, I mentioned to her what I found. And I tell her the story about how I found it, listening to NPR, blah, blah, blah. So we had so his cost at the time, general anesthesia, this was 2013, general anesthesia was 5,000. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been 7,000 then. I can't remember. But I went the local anesthesia, which was 3,000 even back then. And now, in like this today is May 2019. It's like 2019. So today it is $3,450. So after like what, 6 years has gone up, just what you would expect. The inflation, the basic inflation, things go up. The general anesthesia is 7,450 or something like that, or 7,500, something like that. But that's what it is. But again, I went a local route. So basically what local anesthesia is, they numb that area. They just basically numb where they're going to be working. They take lidocaine or xylocaine, inject it into the working area where they're going to be working. And that's the only pain you have. It feels like a little bee sting, and then everything goes numb. And they do 2 of those, one on each side of, well, they give you more, but you just feel the initial injections on each side of your area. So you lay down, they give you something to help you cool out, and if you so choose, and you probably do want that if you're doing the local. And I actually dozed off several times during the procedure. I'm not a skittish person when it comes to things like that. Now, if it's dental work, I want you to put me out, but other things, I'm not very skittish about. And so the procedure went flawlessly. The pain was non-existent. And I asked him after it was over, I said, when we called for the follow-up, I said, my vasectomy, I had some discomfort. And I said, why is this less painful than my vasectomy? And he was explaining, because it's a delicate microsurgery, whereas a vasectomy, they're just basically cutting and cutting. They don't have to be, there's no precision necessarily there. But with the reversal, it's very precise, so it's not as intrusive. It's microsurgery, and so the pain is not there. I mean, you can, it's not uncommon to feel soreness, but for me, my experience was that my vasectomy was more discomforting than this. So then they give you some guidelines. They tell you not to have sex for a long period of time. I think it's 21 days, but listen to what your doctor says on that, and don't exert yourself physically, even more so than that. So that was it, guys. Like, my wife got pregnant pretty much immediately. She miscarried, unfortunately, with the first pregnancy, but that had nothing to do with the that just happens. A miscarriage just happened. After we were able to try after a miscarriage, she got pregnant right away. We now have 2 new children. We have a little boy and a little girl, Nadia and Nico. Nadia is 4 and Nico is 2. And those are our little blessings. So that's my story. And if you guys happen to catch this later, and if you have more questions about the vasectomy reversal, if you want to ask me, just drop a comment in the description below. Oh yeah. So one of the guys asked earlier, how does it all work? So you do the procedure in his office unless you want general anesthesia. Then he has, I guess, admitting privileges. He has a thing arranged with the hospital. You do it in the surgery center. But if you're doing it, if you're just doing local, you just go there and do it. So that's how that works. Yeah, real simple. And well, I hear my daughter crying right now, so I'm going to go see what that's all about. Well, guys, if I left anything out, I apologize. I just don't have anybody asking me any questions. So drop your questions and whatnot in the description below in the comment section, and I'll help out as I answer any questions as I can. I'm happy to talk about this. And the next few videos you'll see probably won't be relating to you vasectomy seekers, reversal seekers. It'll be back to my drone and tech reviews. But thank you guys as always for watching. It's been always a pleasure to bring you this live stream. Keep on watching and live the dream.